The baby's cry sliced through the airplane cabin like broken glass. Every head turned. Some groaned. A woman 2 rows ahead muttered under her breath while adjusting her noise-canceling headphones. The man in the aisle seat clicked his tongue in frustration. Even the flight attendant paused mid-step, her polite smile faltering for just a second. But the single dad didn't notice any of it. His world had shrunk into the tiny, trembling bundle in his arms. Sure, SHHH. Daddy's here, Lily, please, sweetheart, he whispered, his voice cracking with exhaustion and desperation. His name was Evan Carter, and he was a janitor from a small Texas town who hadn't slept in almost 2 days. His uniform had been exchanged for a wrinkled button-down shirt, but his hands, those same hands that scrubbed floors at the community college every night, were now trembling as he tried to gently rock his 3-month-old daughter in a cramped airplane seat. Lily would not stop crying. Not when he patted her back. Not when he whispered songs his mother used to sing. Not when he bounced her carefully against his chest. Her tiny face was red, her body stiff with panic, her cries echoing louder and louder, bouncing off the metal walls of the aircraft like an alarm no one could silence. Evan closed his eyes for a brief second. Just one. And when he opened them again, they were glassy, filled with apology. "I'm so sorry. I'm really trying," he murmured, not sure of who he was apologizing to anymore, the passengers, the baby, or himself. That's when he noticed a shadow fall across his row. Someone was standing in the aisle beside him. A tall, broad-shouldered man with silver hair, dressed in a crisp Navy uniform, stood quietly, observing the scene. The gold insignia on his collar reflected the cabin lights. Admiral Nathaniel Graves. Whispers traveled fast. "That's a Navy Admiral. What's he doing in economy? He's someone important." Evan looked up in alarm, embarrassed. His face turned red. "I'm so sorry, sir," he said immediately. "I'll try to calm her down, I swear. I didn't mean to disturb." But the Admiral raised a gentle hand. Then, in a calm, steady voice that carried far more compassion than authority, he spoke words that made the entire row fall silent. "May I hold her?" The cabin froze. Evan blinked. What?" "I said, may I hold your daughter?" the Admiral repeated softly. "I think I might be able to help." The baby screamed again, louder than ever, as if in defiance. The flight attendant hesitated. "Sir, are you—" "It's all right," the Admiral said, smiling slightly. "I've helped much more fragile things in far more dangerous situations." Evan stared at the man in front of him, decorated, dignified, respected, offering his arms to take his crying child. And in that moment, with judgment surrounding him and hope dangling by a thread, Evan handed his baby to a United States Navy Admiral. No one on that plane could have imagined what was about to happen next. The baby's cries began to soften, and an impossible silence started to bloom. Evan Carter was not supposed to be on that plane. Not in 1,000 lifetimes. Air travel had always been something other people did, people with savings, credit cards, vacation plans, second homes. Evan's world was much smaller, centered around a tiny apartment with creaky floorboards and a second-hand crib he'd found by a dumpster and spent 3 nights repairing. But 2 weeks earlier, his life had been tipped violently on its side. The hospital in Virginia had called. "Mr. Carter, your sister has gone into sudden organ failure. If you want to see her, you should come immediately." His sister, Hannah, had been the only family he had left. She was the one who had stayed by his side the day his wife died in childbirth. The one who helped him figure out how to warm bottles, how to change diapers, how to survive the grief that sat on his chest every morning like a heavy stone. "I can't go," he'd whispered into the phone, staring at Lily in her crib. "I have the baby. I don't have the money." There had been a pause. Then, softly, "Bring her. Come say goodbye." The words "say goodbye" echoed around the small, empty apartment for the rest of the night. That was how a janitor making barely enough to survive ended up on a crowded plane with a crying baby and a heart cracked into too many pieces to count. The crying had started during takeoff. At first, Evan thought it was the pressure. He tried to feed her, but she refused the bottle. He tried to burp her, pat her, soothe her, but she arched away, screaming as though the sky itself had betrayed her. Every sound felt amplified, the roar of the engines, the murmur of annoyed voices, the sighs, the whispers. You should have thought about this before flying with a baby. Some people have zero consideration. I paid for a peaceful flight. Each comment stabbed him like a needle. I know. I'm trying, he kept thinking. When the Admiral approached, Evan felt his entire body tense. He had grown up watching men like this from a distance on television, confident, powerful, respected. He had never imagined one would be standing in front of him, reaching for his daughter. There's a rhythm to calm and chaos, Admiral Graves said quietly as he held Lily close to his chest. Babies sense when the person holding them is overwhelmed. You're drowning in stress, son. She feels that. Evan swallowed hard. I'm not a bad father. I swear I'm not. I don't know what she needs. The Admiral didn't answer immediately. He simply began to hum. Low and steady. A deep, melodic sound that seemed to vibrate through his chest and into the baby. He gently swayed side to side, just slightly, not enough to disturb others, but enough that Lily's tense body slowly began to relax. 1 minute passed. Then another. The crying softened into whimpers. Then into silence. Tiny fingers curled into the fabric of the Admiral's uniform. And for the first time since takeoff, the plane was quiet. Every passenger watched in disbelief. How did he do that? Someone whispered. But Evan wasn't watching the passengers. He was watching his daughter's peaceful face, her eyelids fluttering shut, her cheeks damp from tears, resting calmly against a man who looked like he had weathered storms greater than most men ever would. Tears ran silently down Evan's cheeks. I don't understand, he breathed. The Admiral looked down at the infant, his eyes clouded with something older than memory. I lost my son once too, he said barely above a whisper. He would have been her age when the war took me away too long, and life took him away forever. Evan's breath caught. And ever since then, the Admiral continued, I've learned to recognize the sound of pain in a baby's cry, and the sound of a father who loves beyond measure. Evan nodded, choking back a sob. I just want to be enough for her. Admiral Graves looked up then, locking eyes with him. Son, you already are. Those 6 words struck Evan harder than anything he had heard since his wife died. But that wasn't the unthinkable thing yet. Not even close. As the baby slept peacefully in the arms of a Navy Admiral, the man turned to the stunned flight attendant and said, Would you please notify the captain that we have an emergency change of plans to make? The attendant blinked. Sir? We are rerouting this flight. The entire section gasped. For this child, and this father, because their destination is no longer correct. And with that declaration, the life of an exhausted janitor and his tiny baby began to change forever, at 30,000 feet above the earth. The cockpit door shut softly, but the tension inside the aircraft couldn't be contained by a simple piece of metal. Within minutes, confused murmurs echoed throughout the cabin. Did he just say reroute? Is something wrong? Who does that guy think he is? But when the captain's voice finally came over the intercom, it wasn't confused. It was respectful. Almost reverent. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm. Due to a special directive authorized by Admiral Nathaniel Graves, we will be making an unscheduled landing at Andrews Air Force Base. This is not a cause for alarm. We appreciate your cooperation. Silence wrapped around the passengers like fog. Andrews Air Force Base was not a normal landing zone. Evan's heart nearly stopped. I don't understand, he whispered to the Admiral, who still held Lily with impossible gentleness. Sir? I can't afford that. I can't cause trouble. I can't go to an Air Force base. I'm just a janitor. Admiral Graves looked at him, a slight smile etching across the weathered lines of his face. You're not just anything, Mr. Carter. And you are not causing trouble. You are about to receive answers. Answers to what? Evan asked, his hands shaking. The Admiral reached into his jacket and pulled out a slowly fading photograph. He handed it to Evan carefully. It was a young woman, smiling, standing beside a man in a military uniform. Evan's breath vanished. The woman in the photo looked almost exactly like his late wife, Emily. Same dimple on the left cheek. Same soft eyes. Same gentle smile. Do you recognize her? The Admiral asked. Evan nodded slowly, agony blossoming in his chest. That's my wife. The Admiral swallowed. She is my daughter. The world tilted. No, Evan whispered. That's not possible. She never told me. She was sworn to silence, the Admiral said quietly. She wanted to live a normal life outside the shadow of rank, medals, and command. She fell in love with you. And I loved her too much to take that from her. Evan stared down at the sleeping baby. My granddaughter, the Admiral whispered. A tear fell onto his own hand. And when she cried, I recognized the voice of my blood. The baby stirred gently, as if sensing the truth settling around her. Evan's entire life, every struggle, every lonely night, every unpaid bill, every doubt that he was enough, suddenly collided with a world far larger than he could have imagined. You're saying, his voice failed. You're saying Lily is your family? Yes, the Admiral nodded. And so are you. The plane descended smoothly, the clouds parting like curtains revealing a future Evan had never intended to step into. But the greatest test had not yet come. Because the moment those wheels touched the military runway, Evan was about to be given an impossible choice. One that would test whether love was louder than fear, and whether a janitor's heart deserved the power of an empire. And the entire world would soon hear of the single father who boarded a plane with nothing, and walked off with destiny in his arms.